Moche, a civilization as elusive as a desert mirage yet as tangible as the pyramids they left behind. Flourishing on the arid Peruvian coast centuries before the Incas, they carved out an empire from a land that seemed determined to remain untamed. Imagine a people who not only survived, but thrived in one of the driest places on Earth. That's the Moche. These weren't just survivors, they were artists, engineers, and storytellers. They didn't just build cities, they sculpted them from the very earth, their monumental temples and palaces rising from the desert like apparitions. Their pottery, vibrant and full of life, wasn't just functional, it was a canvas for their beliefs, their rituals, their very souls. The Moche were masters of their environment, bending the harsh realities of the desert to their will. They understood that water was life, and their intricate irrigation systems, channeling precious water from distant rivers, were nothing short of engineering marvels. They were the ultimate desert hackers, finding ways to make the impossible possible. Forget your glass and steel skyscrapers, the Moche were all about adobe. This humble mixture of mud and straw might not sound glamorous, but in the hands of the Moche it became a material for masterpieces. They weren't just building houses, they were sculpting monumental structures, layer upon layer of sun-baked earth rising to dizzying heights. Take a look at Huaca de la Luna, the Temple of the Moon. This massive complex wasn't just a place of worship, it was a statement, a testament to the power of the Moche elite. Imagine a pyramid, not of smooth stone like the Egyptians, but of millions of adobe bricks, each one painstakingly made by hand. But it's not just the size that impresses, it's the details. The walls of Huaca de la Luna are covered in intricate friezes, colorful murals depicting scenes from Moche mythology, gods and warriors, priests and prisoners, all frozen in time, their stories whispered across the centuries. It's like walking through a graphic novel, a comic book come to life in the middle of the desert. Imagine a civilization flourishing in the desert, their survival hanging by a thread, dependent on the whims of a single river. That was the Moche. Their lifeline was the rivers that snaked their way through the arid landscape, providing the precious water that made life possible. But the Moche weren't content to simply rely on the whims of nature. They were engineers, masters of irrigation who turned the desert green with their ingenuity. They built a network of canals, some stretching for miles, channeling water from the rivers to their fields, transforming the arid landscape into a fertile oasis. These weren't just ditches dug in the ground. The Moche understood the flow of water, the lay of the land. They built dams and reservoirs, carefully controlling the water's journey, ensuring that every drop reached its destination. It was a delicate dance between man and nature, a testament to the Moche's understanding of their environment. Forget hieroglyphics or ancient Greek. The Moche spoke through their pottery. Their ceramics weren't just bowls and plates, they were canvases, three-dimensional narratives that chronicled their lives, their beliefs, and their world. It's like finding a lost library, each pot a book waiting to be opened, each shard a page from their history. The Moche didn't just make pots, they sculpted them, molded them into intricate shapes, each one telling a story. There are pots shaped like animals, jaguars and owls, their eyes wide with ancient wisdom. There are pots depicting scenes from daily life, farmers tending their fields, fishermen casting their nets, musicians playing their flutes. And then there are the portrait vessels, faces staring out at us across the millennia. These aren't idealized representations, they're real people, warts and all. You can see the lines on their faces, the wrinkles around their eyes, the hint of a smile playing on their lips. It's like looking into the eyes of the past, a connection across time and space. Section 5. Whispers in Metal. Move over, Iron Age. The Moche were masters of metal long before Europe even knew what hit them. They were like the rock stars of metallurgy, transforming gold, silver, and copper into objects of stunning beauty and sophistication. Forget your basic tools and weapons. The Moche were crafting intricate jewelry, delicate earrings shaped like birds in flight, nose ornaments that would put a modern-day rapper to shame. They were even creating surgical instruments, scalpels and tweezers that wouldn't be out of place in a modern operating room. But it wasn't just the technical skill that was impressive, it was the artistry. The Moche imbued their metalwork with a sense of movement, a fluidity that belied the hardness of the materials. Their pieces weren't just objects, they were alive, imbued with a spirit that still speaks to us today. Section 6. The Wrath of Nature. Imagine a civilization at its peak, cities bustling, fields overflowing, only to be brought low by the very forces that gave them life. That was the Moche. They had built their empire on the edge of a knife, a delicate balance between man and nature. But nature, as always, had the last laugh. The Moche lived in one of the driest places on Earth, their survival dependent on the El Niño cycle. For centuries they had thrived, adapting to the unpredictable rhythms of the Pacific Ocean. But then came a series of El Niño events of unprecedented ferocity, unleashing their fury upon the Moche heartland. Torrential rains lashed the coast, transforming the life-giving rivers into raging torrents. Floods swept away crops, homes, and entire villages. The adobe structures, once symbols of Moche ingenuity, crumbled back into the earth from which they had come. Section 7. The Winds of Change. El Niño wasn't the only force shaking things up. Remember that delicate balance between man and nature? Well, throw in a dash of climate change and things get really interesting. Imagine a slow-motion train wreck, the Moche world gradually shifting beneath their feet. As temperatures rose and rainfall patterns changed, the delicate ecosystem that the Moche relied upon began to unravel. Crops failed, harvests dwindled, and famine stalked the land. The once fertile fields, painstakingly irrigated with their ingenious canal systems, turned to dust. It wasn't just the environment that was changing. The social fabric of the Moche world began to fray at the edges. With resources becoming scarcer, competition for land and water intensified, pitting communities against each other in a desperate struggle for survival. Section 8. A house divided. Picture this. A civilization already reeling from environmental disasters, now facing a new threat from within, their own people. The Moche, once united under a powerful elite, found themselves increasingly divided. Think Game of Thrones, but with less dragons and more adobe pyramids. As the effects of climate change and El Niño intensified, the pressure on the Moche elite grew. The commoners, facing famine and hardship, began to question the authority of their rulers. Resentment simmered, tensions flared, and the once stable social order began to crumble. Internal strife became the order of the day. Rival factions within the Moche elite vied for control, their power struggles playing out on the very steps of the pyramids. The once unified civilization fractured into smaller, weaker polities, each struggling to survive in a world that seemed to be falling apart. Section 9. Fading Grandeur. Imagine a civilization slowly fading away, its once vibrant cities falling silent, its magnificent structures crumbling back into the dust. That was the fate of the Moche. The combination of environmental disasters, climate change, and internal strife proved to be too much for even their resilience to overcome. The grand temples and palaces, once teeming with life, were gradually abandoned. The intricate irrigation systems, no longer maintained, fell into disrepair. The fields, once a testament to Moche ingenuity, lay fallow. The cities that had once been centers of art, culture, and power became ghost towns, haunted by the memories of a lost civilization. But even in decline, the Moche spirit endured. Their artistic traditions, though diminished, continued to be practiced in smaller, isolated communities. Their legends and stories were passed down through generations, keeping the memory of their ancestors alive. Section 10. Echoes in the Sand. The Moche might be gone, but their legacy lives on. The ruins of their cities, half buried by the sands of time, stand as silent sentinels, whispering tales of a lost world. They are a stark reminder that even the most advanced civilizations are not immune to the forces of nature and the follies of humankind. Today, archaeologists are piecing together the puzzle of the Moche, using the fragments of pottery, the remnants of buildings, and the whispers in the wind to reconstruct their story. Their findings reveal a civilization of remarkable sophistication and resilience, a people who thrived in one of the harshest environments on Earth. The Moche might be a mystery, but they are a mystery worth unraveling. By understanding their rise and fall, we gain a deeper understanding of our own place in the world, of the delicate balance between humanity and nature, and of the enduring power of the human spirit. Section 11. Lessons from the Past. The Moche story isn't just ancient history, it's a cautionary tale, a reminder that we are not masters of our destiny but rather stewards of a planet we share with countless other species. It's a call to action, urging us to learn from the past and to act responsibly in the present to ensure a brighter future. The challenges faced by the Moche, climate change, environmental degradation, social unrest, are eerily similar to the challenges we face today. Their story reminds us that these challenges are not insurmountable and that human ingenuity, coupled with a deep respect for the natural world, can lead us towards a more sustainable and equitable future. The Moche might be gone, but their story continues to resonate across the centuries. Their legacy is a gift, a treasure trove of knowledge and inspiration that can help us navigate the complexities of the 21st century and beyond. Let us honor their memory by heeding their warnings and embracing their wisdom. The future of our planet may very well depend upon